We were talking about the example of the Lambda trying to upload a file, a CSV file, for example, into S3. And we were talking about how this connection may be done, how this connection is usually done. So that's when I get to talk about the VPC endpoints, which kind they are, and how this connection can be made. So moving forward, first, regarding this example, I was talking about the Lambda and S3. We could probably use the gateway endpoint, and the gateway endpoint, it's the kind of connection that you can make between your VPC and some AWS services, but specifically you can only do with the S3 and DynamoDB. Gateway endpoint is the best option because you don't have to worry. For example, what are we thinking here? We think about letting all of our traffic going into in a private way. Okay, you don't go through the internet. It's everything inside AWS. So we actually rely on the VPC route tables. So we don't have an elastic network interface like the next example, because you don't have to worry about a net gateway, for example, for this kind of transfer. Okay, you don't have to worry about the costs. They are tied to it, since you're not. You don't have to pay about the tax, the cost of the net gateway, and you also don't have to worry about the regular outbound cost of going through the internet and making use of private IPs. And I think from gateway endpoint, I think it's probably covered. So moving forward, when we talk about interface endpoints, we also are talking about this kind of connection that is not going through the internet. It's go inside. The connection is going to be made from your VPC to some AWS service, which can be a lot of them. Another EC2, for example, can also be S3, Dynamo, you name it. Another Lambda, you name it. So it leveraged this technology, which is AWS Private Link, which is the name of the technology behind what is being done for this connection from your VPC to another AWS service. And what is an ENI? Is an elastic network interface. So when we're talking about gateway endpoint, we've seen that they have these route tables that's going to make the redirection to the pointing to not going through the internet, but pointing to another AWS service, which in the case was S3 and DynamoDB. Okay, when we're talking about the interface endpoint, we have this ENI, which is created, and it basically have a list of private IPs, which are in the range of your VPC. So AWS does everything for you. You just have to say, let's build an interface endpoint. Okay, going through VPC endpoints, and you have the option to choose to make an interface endpoint. So what is happening here? We have a VPC, or VPC, and it basically have an ENI, and each ENI, in the ENI for each subnet in your VPC, it basically it's going to have all these private IPs. And keep in mind they're always using private IPs, and then these private IPs are like the entrance for the service you're trying to reach. So let's say you have inside your VPC an EC2, and your EC2 is trying to connect to another service from AWS, and it's not going through the internet, okay? But it's going to point to your ENI first, okay? So later, it's going to come together. And this is a separate private thing. This is what I just talked about. And the way the service is going to be connected is all abstracted for you. So that's why you don't have to worry about pointing directly to the service you're trying to reach. Okay.